Brothers in Revenge closed out Season 4, with the failed attempt of Maul and Savage to press at vengeance, leaving them stuck in the cargo portion of the ship while Obi-Wan got away. So the two are instead running around causing mayhem, and at the moment, stealing a safe full of credits. Maul is down, but the worst part is that he can't even recall this the lowest point of his life. Years spent as a spider is going to be a record likely to remain unbroken. So to no doubt make himself feel better, he decides that what his group needs is a leader. Him. Savage thinks that's unnecessary, but Maul's certain that he's the master, and the guy who pulled his spider body out of a junk planet is clearly a mere apprentice. Savage doesn't care for this arrangement, but the speed with which Maul kicks his ass convinces him to toe the line. After all, it's not every day that a Sith grabs your face with his foot. Except, of course, when Darth Clyde is around. Obi-Wan and Adi Gallia show up to investigate, and explain that the two guys here aren't rogue Jedi, but Sith, and they're here to bring 'em in. So the guy whose ship was stolen points them in the direction of pirate territory, where sure enough Maul and Savage are, and quickly are joined by some pirates, who assume that these guys must be easy prey. Well, they're surprised by the sight of the Sith, and, not a good surprise, like a cargo bay full of Jabba's Rodian porn. I mean, it's a bad surprise, like Jabba's Gungan porn. But after showing how unmatched they are, Maul doesn't kill them, but rather offers to share the cargo with them for their service.
What kind of Jedi are you? We are not Jedi. We are lords. Crime lords.
I'll admit, the idea of Darth Maul, underworld mover and shaker, caught me off guard when I first learned about it. I won't say where, but you can probably guess. But seeing this, I can see how he traveled down that path. The Sith seek power, and when another Sith has got one half of the galaxy fighting the other half, political power isn't going to be easy to come by, especially when you're someone more like Maul and inclined to solve all your problems the same way. I'm sure that Sidious gave him a test on this. All right, there is a senator. He knows of a secret you do not want revealed. What do? A. Stab him in the face. B. Bribe him. C. Manipulate others to have him killed. Or D. Blackmail him. I choose stab him. No, my apprentice. The direct method leaves you vulnerable. What should you actually do? A then. A is also stabbing. What should you actually be doing? To ensure he is dealt with and no one knows what you did, you might be inclined to think bribery, but bribery will not work because it's not stabbing him in the face. I think we're done here. You just can't seem to think outside the box. No, Master. I know. I force choke him, then stab him in the face. So if legitimate power is off the table, then extra legal power is a good backup. Ergo, start your own criminal empire. And these guys seem interested. After all, the only thing they want, to be rich, is something Maul couldn't give less of a shit about. So they're in, ready to betray their boss. It's our old buddy, Hondo.
Traitors. Scum. I'm so proud.
The tears of joy make it hard to see as I sharpen my throat-slitting knife. Well, Hondo isn't cowed by Maul, even when Maul kills one of his lieutenants who wasn't enthusiastic enough about switching sides. So this means war. And of course, Obi-Wan picks now to show up, right when the fun's about to start. You wouldn't think a guy like him would be so into crashing parties.
Greetings, Hondo.
Greetings? What kind of menace have you brought to my planet now?
The phantom kind, I'm afraid. Hondo rants at Obi-Wan, but I think it's just to have someone to rant at. It has been a rough quarter for his business, after all. Obi-Wan agrees to help deal with the Sith, although the revolting pirates are Hondo's problem. Best not to get involved in family squabbles. Maul's less than thrilled when he sees who's arrived, apparently wishing that he'd had his little empire squared away before he got revenge this time. But there's no real option other than to fight them. Kind of sets a bad example of the troops not to. And Savage is certainly down for it. What he lacks in training, he makes up for in being a frickin' giant. So Adi Gallia is eventually overwhelmed and then killed. I shall now say goodbye to her in the only way possible to sing her theme. Adigalia, do 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 do. Adigalia, do 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 do. This would lead to a continuity glitch, as they decided that this episode should open up the season instead of what they had actually had planned, so despite her dramatic death here, she'll show up alive and well afterwards. Although Maul was cut in half, and he's in this fight, so I guess we can't exactly quibble at this point about people rising from the grave, can we? Well, this calls for a strategic withdrawal, so Obi-Wan joins Hondo's men in falling back to the cave, although finding out that these two guys could kill a Jedi leaves him stunned. I mean, God knows he's tried often enough and never succeeded.
I shall draw the brothers away. Once that's done, blast the passageway closed.
And leave you alone with the two crazies? Yeah, okay.
Must have taken a Jedi mind trick to overcome that resistance. So they withdraw and split up, leaving Hondo to handle his former pirates, while Obi-Wan has the chance, after the tunnel is collapsed, to unleash Operation Rorschach. I'm not locked in with you, you're locked in with me. See, at this rate, there's going to be about one body's worth of material divvied up between two guys. Well, Hondo has thought about what to do about his betrayers and decides a stern talking to is punishment enough, especially when there are so many riches that can be stolen from the Sith ship. So rather than shooting them or worse, he turns them around and points them at Maul and Savage and says, "Have at it!" Again? This pair loses body parts the way other people lose socks. But despite the setback, the pair manage to get back to their ship. At least they have that going for them. It sure is good for Maul that he survived that fall back in Phantom Menace, given how he's achieved so much and preserved his dignity so well. He went from being the right hand of evil to losing to pirates that were defeated not by his replacement, but the guy who works for his replacement. It's like if Norman Osborn returned from the dead only to get beaten up by a few gang members who work for the Rose. It's just indignity upon indignity. He'd have been better off taking a job as an accountant. The two manage to get away in an escape pod, but back on Coruscant, Palpatine thinks that it's time to let the Maul issue die, as they're busy dealing with a war here which trumps hunting down a lunatic and his brother.
Maul was trying to build an army of pirates.
So let him. Let him play with the rabble.
I can't help but wonder how much of this is the Chancellor talking and how much of it is the Sith Master talking. That the Fallen should be left to mix with the scum of the galaxy instead of being given any serious attention. We'll get to see more of Maul and Savage as they wind up jackknifing another Clone Wars plotline, which we'll get to in our next look at The Clone Wars.
All hail the Overlord! All hail the Overlord!
My, aren't we popular today? Put him through! Go, go, go!